G'day everyone and welcome back to another video on the Just Another Tractor YouTube channel. My name's Adam and today's video is a little bit different as I have injured myself and I'm not able to manhandle a lot of this equipment for a little while, so I thought over the weekend that I would go down and visit my good friend and also tractor mentor, Mr. GreasyJohn, who has his own YouTube channel with some really good content, and see what he's up to, have a look at what he's got down there, and just have a bit of a chat about you know, the models of tractor that he has and what sort of distinguishes them a little bit, and yeah, see what he's up to, and also how he blew up a Fairbanks Morse 6 horsepower Z. So enjoy the video.
G'day, GreasyJohn here, and I'm here with me mate, Just Another Tractor, and I thought I'd have a chat to him about a couple old tractors here. So we'll fire up this old Wallis and get it out the shed because it's been a while.
And what make Wallace is this one, John?
Sorry?
What make Wallace is this one?
This is Wallis OK. So, like 23, 24, a little bit older than your one.
Yep.
Nice original tractor, runs well, usually starts easy, but now I've said that, we'll see, eh?
Yeah.
I'll just make sure it's out of gear for the third time. It's out of gear for the third time.
So what's that, John? Two swings on the choke. Normally give it?
One more.
Yep.
On choke.
That's why we've got to be careful with these old tractors.
Yeah. Now it's not going to start. It's going to be a bear.
As is always the way when there's people watching.
Absolutely.
So can you tell us anything special about this tractor, John?
It's a nice original tractor. The rack come out the sun. West Australian tractor. I've worked it for a lot of hours at field days. And it just keeps going and going. No, it's a lovely old tractor, really. Pretty reliable.
Yeah, starts well. But everyone wants to know, John, does the rat have a name?
No, it's just a sock rat. Yeah, she goes quite well. She's not the prettiest.
I reckon she is. You can't beat the original look, can you?
No, that's That was the Wallis, 1923. Now, if you've watched me make Just Another Tractor's videos, you'll see that he's got a Wallis and a Pacemaker. And as he's explained, the U-frame design come over from the Wallis over to the Pacemaker tractor. This is an unstyled Pacemaker Orchard. So this is about 1936. The setback front axle, the low air intake, and the large, low driver's platform with turning brakes and adjustable height steering wheel, what makes it an Orchard.
Now, this is the same tractor that I'm currently restoring, but this is a unstyled one.
This is an unstyled.
The one I'm doing now is a bit later. A bit later model. It's a style one, and it's 1939.
And
one.
The whole idea with styling styled tractors was in the late 1930s. A lot of tractor manufacturers still had their basic designs from the 20s, as you can see to here. And in that time, the whole Art Deco movement and whatnot came about. You get people like Raymond Loewy, who designed the steam-lined express passenger locomotives in the US, has gone to work for International Harvester, styling the F20 and F30, and eventually you get the M and the H style tractors. And you get Henry Dreyfuss and people like that. Massey Harris also styled their tractor, and you get these style Pacemaker. Cast iron front grille, curved bonnet, look, bright red colours. It was basically a selling point to basically say we've got a new tractor, but it's not really a new tractor. So this is, as I say, the unstyled version. Now,
if you want to see a styled version, there is a video on my channel, which will probably link below, of me starting my styled Pacemaker.
Yes.
So.
Now, this isn't much different to yours, starting wise, except this one likes to flood a bit. So what I have to tend to do is turn the petrol off after I've given it a couple of chokes. Now, hopefully there's actually petrol in it. But we'll see.
Probably still some in there after our run, John.
Hey?
There's probably still petrol in it from our run.
There is, yeah. That's what I'm still using in it. So, with this tractor, 1, 2, choke off, petrol off. I don't know why it floods. The float and everything works. They're just not a very good carburettor, the Kingston unit. But, you know.
Just like that.
That's the unstyled version.
And amazingly how similar they are. I mean, that's exactly how I start mine. And same thing, they just go, don't they?
I've left the petrol turned off.
Yeah.
Otherwise it'll run for hours.
Yeah. Yeah, even with mine, after I've driven it, I'll turn the petrol off and let it idle to cool down, and it will still run for 5 minutes before it dies.
Whereas this thing, getting in it, it's used all its skill.
Yeah, yeah.
And this really is a huge engine.
Yeah.
In the Wallis.
Yeah. So, explain the difference between, so my Wallis is a 2030 Wallis, and yours is what we call a 1525?
1527, okay.
27, okay.
So,
how do they get those numbers, John?
right. So your numbers, we'll just let this shut down a bit.
Yeah.
I'd have to yell over it.
Like you said. Oh, there we go.
Right, that's better.
Take 2.
So your numbers, like your 1527 or your 2030 or your 1220, your smallest number is always your drawbar horsepower. So this is 15 horsepower.
So that's how much you can pull.
Yeah.
Yep.
Your 27 is your brake horsepower, i.e. what you can put out on the belt.
Yep, so that's coming straight out.
Yeah.
Yep.
Now the OK part of mine, the first Wallises were the Wallis Cub and the Wallis Cub Junior. And then they went to the Wallis K, which was similar to this, but some differences, and quite different to the Wallis Cub Junior, in that it had a wide front axle, it had mud guards, it was more styled like this than it was its predecessor. Now this is the follow-on from the Wallis K. This is the OK. Different governor setup, a few other differences, different manifold setup. This doesn't have the correct manifold setup on it for the OK. The OK is slightly different in that on the intake side, the actual intake is on top of the air, the intake manifold, and you can turn a disc on top of it to adjust your heat for running on kerosene.
Yeah, okay. Is the K in the OK, is the K meaning kerosene like a lot of tractors? Or
no,
is it just what they...
It's just their model numbers.
Yeah,
basically.
okay. Yep.
So as I say, this is the 1527 OK.
Yep.
What happened to get to the 2030 with yours? They took these to the Nebraska tests. They actually found out that they had a lot more power than they thought. So they used it, called them the Wallis 2030 Certified. Each tractor come with an engineer's certificate saying it's certified fit for use.
So the 2030 is essentially the same tractor but was tested with more modern equipment.
Well, no, they just...
they just had never really...
They just never really realised, I think, just how...
powerful they really were.
Yeah, powerful they really were.
So essentially the same tractor, just they were marketed as these have been certified, they're bigger, they're better, they're the next best thing. Yeah.
Now, yours, after 1928, 1929, they changed slightly again. Because in 1928, Massey Harris has bought Wallis and has started selling these tractors, the 2030, as a Massey Harris 2030.
That's right. Yeah.
And the engine in the Massey Harris 2030 eventually becomes the same in appearance to that in the 1220 pacemakers. Kingston governors, oil filter, things like that.
Yeah.
And you tend to find a lot of Massey Harris built 2030s have French and I can never pronounce it, wheels on them. So they have a lot thinner spokes. They're not as wide. And yours shows a difference.
Yeah, it does a bit.
We'll have to get your serial number.
Yeah, I can probably put that in the video.
We'll date yours.
We dated mine. Mine's 1929, so we figured it was likely sold under Massey Harris because of the year.
But still a Wallis tractor.
But yeah, so a lot of these Wallaces that were, taken on by Massey Harris's old stock ended up getting the Wallis badge chiselled off the front and a Massey Harris badge put on the front, and on the side of the block that was chiselled off as well. But mine still has mine, which is unique because being 1929, Massey Harris has already owned Wallis for 12 months after.
Yes.
And mine is still under a Wallis name. And it doesn't even have a brass badge or a spot where, because a lot of the early ones that were sold didn't get the Wallis name chiselled off. They just got a brass badge
with
that said
Massey Harris.
And mine doesn't have that either.
No. I've got a slightly later bonnet on mine, but you can actually see, because this is off a 2030, but you can see where there would have been a badge on it at one stage.
Yeah.
So
and if you look at mine, it doesn't have that. But it is possible that the bonnet has been changed over
Maybe
time.
we should swap bonnets.
No, mine's a little bit better than that one.
Read Wallis on the side of mine. Mine's good. So that's a bit of Massey Harris. And then the thing with Massey Harris is they went from building these, and you'd think the next step is to build these, but they didn't. They turned the tractor world upside down with their next tractor. They've released the Massey Harris GP, which is a 4-wheel drive tractor, and you'll have to come with me one day and
have a look at one.
We'll hopefully one day be in here.
I did get to see it at a field day we had in April, and I must say it's one of the most beautiful looking tractors. It really is. It's so unique.
I keep trying to convince the owner to get it to climb up the side of the shed in reverse.
Yeah, I'm sure it will. Yeah,
they will do it. But we'll cover. Well, this is your show. I'm just hogging it.
Yeah.
We'll cover that at a later date. So, what would you like to see now?
Well, John, I heard little birdie told me that you've done some damage to this beautiful 6 horsepower Fairbanks Z-Type down here. Now, little quick history on this is I actually owned this engine for about 12 months before I traded it to John for a Massey Harris 25, which I'm still yet to go and collect. But I have seen it, and it's a beautiful tractor, and we'll be getting that, and that will feature on the channel at some stage when I get my hands on it. But John took this engine, and I never had it running because I never had the time to play with it. So I brought this down south for John, and that day, within maybe, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
We got it running, and it was running beautifully.
Yeah.
And since then, you've done a bit of work.
I got all the fuel pump working properly so it would run up out of the tank. And temporarily, because on the return in the mixer, there should be like a spike. So once the fuel level gets to a certain point, it runs back to the tank. Because that was all missing, and I needed to get one so I could measure everything and get it right. I actually put a tap on the return line, nice brass tap, just so I could crack it open and get the flow rate right to get it there. And you're right, had it running beautiful. Had it running for a good 2 or 3 hours. When I got a nice oiler for it, and actually the job I was doing prior to what we did here, which I'll get to in a moment, was cutting this off and putting a new end on it so I could fit the oiler. But one of the things that did happen was the coil inside the magneto failed.
Now, this is not the correct magneto for the engine in the first place, though, is it?
No. This is a 1917. And this engine should have a trip igniter magneto.
A low tension.
Yeah,
Yep.
low tension ignition system. So this is what, I puzzled over this for a long time on this side. You have like a bracket above the spark plug.
It might be a bit dark to see.
It's a bit dark, but this was for the, let me just get some light on it a minute.
Yeah.
This was for the igniter magneto setup. And the other thing is the spark plug is in a collar. And there's no spark plug that will actually fit in the plug hole.
Yeah.
So it should have an igniter. And that's part of what this here is, this setup here.
Yeah, that's to trip the...
To trip the magneto.
Yep.
But because of that, instead of buying a new magneto for it, in the hope that I would be replacing it in the future with the correct setup, instead of sending it away to get the coil done, so that we could get it going for November, we wired a 12-volt coil into this coil with a magneto, with a battery and a 12-volt coil, and used the points as a distributor. Best
Yeah.
word.
Yeah.
And I pulled the flywheels over like that, and away she went. Now, one thing you'll notice,
She no longer has any compression.
no, previously to start this engine I would have to hold the intake valve in,
Which has a decompression.
get her spinning, release the intake valve, pull the handle off, choke it, and away she go. Not anymore, because while she was running, she fired up, she settled herself down to her revs, she ran for a minute, and then there was an almighty bang. And unfortunately, rather sadly, she blew the top out of the cylinder that you can see in there. And if you look,
You can see the valve.
and the top of the piston.
There we go.
So, what we're going to have to do is get that sleeved. We're going to have to get it bored and sleeved. And I think it's not a case of if it was going to happen, but sadly when it was going to happen, because the cylinder itself is extremely thin on the top. And that's because to cool the engine, this hopper would be filled with water. And you've got all your heat, expansion, cooling cycles, and the corrosive effects of water.
And heat.
Yeah, and that's what's done it. So we're going to look at boring and sleeving, but if anyone has a 6 horsepower Fairbanks block, just has to be the block. Crankshaft can be cut up, the head can be missing, the whole schmozzle, let me know.
You can send an email to my email, which is justanothertractor@gmail.com, and I'll get in contact with John about that if anyone does. We're in Western Australia, by the way, so
Yeah,
preferably something that's not going to cost more than the engine to actually
Get
ship.
it over here.
Yeah.
But I will strip it down, pull the crank out, and remove it from the tray. It'd be good because it does have a leaking fuel tank, so I could take time to fix that up.
I think we might even pop the head off today and
have a look,
pull the piston out and have a look at the inside. And
yeah, and when we do that, we'll just make a short.
Yeah, I'll just take a few photos or
Yeah.
do a little piece on that, and we might just add that in at the end of this video as well.
But don't tell Amelia, i.e. the boss, but if you have a nice 4 to 6 horsepower open crank earlier engine that you're interested in selling, let me know, because I'd like something to play with in the meantime.
And I'm going to see you.
Eh?
I'm going to see them message me first, and then I'm going to get it. No.
You've already got plenty to play with.
I do.
So, yeah. Sadly, I won't be able to sit under a gazebo at the Brunswick show.
So, yeah, I was just about to mention that. You said you were getting this ready for November.
Yes,
So,
October, actually.
October. So, do you just want to quickly give us a quick rundown on what's happening in October?
It's the Brunswick show. And this year I'll be taking these two and the Chamberlain because it is behind that house at the end of my driveway. It's showgrounds. So I'll just drive them there.
And I'll hopefully be bringing my Wallis down. We got a that might be a bit of content that will be coming soon as well, is you and I dragging the Wallis around, getting that going.
Yes. Well, I was going to make a stiff bar actually.
Yeah,
do
okay.
That. I've got some.
I might even have some material to do.
Under all those lugs there.
Regardless.
Well, some clevises to it, so
and
we have a stiff bar to use.
So you were originally planning to tow the Fairbanks behind the Wallis to the show.
Yep.
Just because it's 10 metres down the road from where you live, 20 metres. So, and I'll be bringing down, hopefully, the Wallis.
Yep.
And also the McDonald.
The McDonald.
So I've got a little bit of work to do on that McDonald to get that ready. I have discovered a hairline crack in the head that I need to fix before that.
But that's the beauty of all this old stuff, is keeps us busy.
Well, that's it, yeah. I just don't want to. I don't want another Fairbanks situation going on. So, I'll sort that out, yeah. And then hopefully we'll have that at the Brunswick show behind the Wallis.
Yes, it'd be nice actually. It'd be really nice to have both there. What else have I got in this shed? Oh yes,
we've got
little steam engine here.
Little Stewart steam engine, isn't it?
Well, it's not a Stewart. It's too big for a Stewart.
Oh, okay.
I believe it's a built from a kit or something.
Ah, right.
So it's a single acting steam engine. It only runs in one direction.
So only one power stroke.
Yeah.
Yep.
It does have a second eccentric strap.
Yep.
To run a boiler feed pump. Ideally, I need to build a boiler for it because currently I use my compressor, but it's just not the same.
Yeah.
Nice little engine. Needs some things doing to it. It needs some drain cocks fitting on the cylinder. As I say, it needs a oiler, inline oiler, which would be on the feed side.
Which would typically run with steam oil.
Yeah, which is a beautiful smelling oil.
It actually is, no, I agree.
And it would be nice just to have it mounted with a boiler, wood-fired boiler, and maybe get a pulley for it. Use it to run something.
Yeah. So do you think originally an engine like this would come out of a small boat or?
Yes, I think so. It may have been built for a boat.
Yeah.
So, it all...
Because with a single stroke or power stroke, they're not exactly the torquiest of steam engines, are they?
No.
But still, for steam is rather a torque.
On steam, it would probably generate more power than it will on compressed air.
Yeah.
Purely because of the expansion properties of steam. So it'd be nice to get that sorted out. So that is a project, is to build a boiler, but I'm not a coded welder, and I'm not game to play about with pressure vessels. So if anyone wants to put their hand up, send me some designs and whatnot that I can get sent to get it made, then I will do that.
And just putting it out there, John has already said no to using an old LPG tank, so don't suggest it. Oh, look, another Lister D.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
another Lister D. Coil has actually failed in this magneto.
You don't have much luck with magnetos, I'm noticing, John.
No, I know. So if anyone has a Lucas bread box,
They don't use a Lucas RS1 or whatever.
yeah,
They do.
the most common magneto out there.
I've got one for you.
Oh, there you go. At least I could get that going again, chunking away.
Yeah, because they're so thrilling to watch, aren't they?
I should make a cart for it, really.
Yeah, they look. They did something to have, and they do
Yeah.
sound alright.
Yeah, they do. This one was running quite nicely until the magneto decided to play up.
Still
So-
got a lot of the original. That's all original as well in there.
Yeah, unfortunately,
nice.
someone's gone over it with a paintbrush. But there it is. Lister D, houses on the bay. One actually sold recently in the UK for £4,000,
I saw that.
which is a bit ridiculous.
I think that bloke who bought it might kick himself when he goes on Marketplace and sees 100 of them for bloody $50 or $100.
Yeah, well, it may have had some sentimental value. I mean, we don't.
It might have been serial numero uno.
Well, I don't think.
Who
so.
knows?
I don't. It wasn't even an early one. It was just a bog standard Lister D.
Yeah.
So this is my
Alright.
shed. Nice old tractors look at home in the shed anyway.
They do. It's a beautiful shed.
That's the main thing. Still got room for another tractor or two, so watch this space. Now,
Beautiful.
there was talk about going to the pub, wasn't there?
Yep. And
right.
we're just about to do that, I think. And
Once
that over
Ian
there.
comes back.
Yep. And that'll be a whole nother video in itself, I think. So, thanks very much for the tour, John.
You're welcome, Adam.
And
And any time you want to be on a GreasyJohn video again, you just let me know.
well, you realise you're on my video now.
Oh, my agent didn't tell me that.
Ah.
I thought this is anyway, look up GreasyJohn. All one
Crazy
word
John. Yep.
on
And I'm
YouTube.
going to link it into the video as well.
That's it.
All
Then
right.
I can retire.
All right. Thanks a lot, John.
No worries. I'm going. Bye.
Alright everyone, I really hope you enjoyed that video. I really enjoy going down there and hanging out with GreasyJohn as always. Like I said, I will put his YouTube in the description. It's just GreasyJohn, one word. He's got some really cool videos on there. And another thing GreasyJohn does is he's a co-host of a very good podcast called the Early Unusual Machinery Podcast. You can find that on Spotify and Soundcloud if that's what you're into. He talks to some really great people on there, and it's just really good entertainment. So, yeah, I'll leave all that below, and I hope you enjoyed the video. I'll see you next time. Bye bye.